So Outer Range is what, dude? Where did you even find that, like, the line you looked up when I first mentioned it? It had like 10 like buzzwords.
Wikipedia, an American science fiction neo-Western mystery thriller streaming television series.
That's what Outer Range is, man.
It's literally the first line of their Wikipedia. They nailed it. And if you like all those words in a line, this show's for you.
There is some threads in this though that don't really lead to anything. Not sure how I feel about that, but you just finished watching this.
I just finished
before we started recording today. Did you like it? Question mark? Inflection?
Episode one was great. I was like, this show feels like a 9.
Yeah.
Like, episode one was so good. You told me about the show. I was like, let's give it a shot. My wife and I were both like, we're in. Episode 2 was a 4. Like, episode 2, I was like, oh fuck. At episode 3, I was like, ah shit. Episode 4, I was like, oh, okay, all right. Episode 5, I was like, maybe. Episode 6, I was like, shit, this isn't over.
Yeah, I remember the end of 1, though. There's 8. The end of 1, I was like, yo, they should have done 1 a week because that ending was nuts. And then the end of episode 2, I was like, okay. I forget exactly how it ended, but I remember that was also a cliffhanger. And I feel like 2, 4, and 6, they were like, wait till next week. Do you think they know the release schedule, stuff like this, when they make these? Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either.
Think maybe they must. They must. And, you know, they pitch the pilot or whatever.
They have like an idea,
however they do it, and then they go, all right, we could see this. Our release plan for these kind of shows is this, so we need to have these beats so that people are excited and talk about this show on the internet for the entire week.
Are people even watching this show? I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it.
I've heard one person talk about it, and it was you.
Yeah, that's it. I don't have really issue with the show, but my thing about this is it's pretty weird, right?
With there's a lot. It's so weird with so much minutia.
Yes, which I like, but it almost seems like it's weird to be weird.
Yeah.
And none of it's explained. None of it. Like, even by the end, you're like, where? What?
Like I said, the episodes for me, it was like there were 2 or 3 episodes that were like, oh shit, this is really cool.
Like if you like Western Twilight Zone.
And then a lot where I literally fell asleep.
Okay.
I literally fell asleep in 4 of the episodes.
That's 50% of them.
If you're really into like the minutia and dialogue and all those things, which are valuable things, but they just weren't compelling enough for me, then sure, maybe there's something that's more relatable to you, because like we're from the Northeast, so like we don't know what like this ranch life is about or what any of this stuff is about. Just like small, so maybe this stuff hits better for somebody who's not based where we are.
The vibe is cool.
Yeah.
But it does, and like you're saying about the minutia and stuff like that, the minutia is like mostly day-to-day stuff.
Right.
It's not like the details of what's going on in the world, like little threads of like you're learning about like what the weirdness is or like the sci-fi aspect of it. It's not that part. It's like what's going on day to day. It's the fight over the land and stuff like that, you know?
Well, that's because they knew there was something in there. We're going to find out in season 2, by the way.
That was another question that we could talk about before we get into spoilers. Do you think there needs to be a second season, or this is a 1-season show?
Do I think there needs to be a second season? No. Do I think there's plans for a second season based on how they ended all of this? Absolutely.
I think it's a good 1-season show. I think you don't really need more, but there probably will be.
It should have been 6 episodes.
I think is what it is. It's fine if it's 1 season.
Yeah.
But if it's going to be more than that, and they planned more than that, the pace is correct for the setting, though. Like you were saying, maybe it affects you more. I think I was fine with that. I wasn't bored. I just didn't love it as much as I loved another show that I thought was kind of similar. And because in this, it sort of felt like it was being weird, where it was just a weird show for the sake of it, to add a twist. Like it's a slow like modern Western with like the land dispute. And then we can talk about whatever the hell we want, because it's spoiler time. It's spoiler time! It gets tonally weirder as it goes, for sure. The Autumn character, when she starts going insane, it becomes almost like a Quentin Tarantino movie. Did you pick up on that? It gave me like True Romance vibes towards the end, where it was like her and like the guy's younger son when they started like getting all crazy and shit. I was like
weirdly making out while he's singing songs.
Yeah, in the bank. That felt very Quentin Tarantino to me. No,
It was bad. That scene was so fucking stupid.
I think it's just that's what I'm saying. It's sometimes it feels weird for the sake of being weird. Like he was just a weirdo in general. Like he was just singing all the time, but and then she was going crazy.
There's nothing wrong with having a little tune in your head and singing, but like they were just like focus on him singing a song for like 30 seconds at a pop, and I'm like, dude.
Yeah, so many questions at the end. So Autumn was on the phone. I'm just going to ask those questions now, right? Autumn was on the phone with her mom, supposedly, in an episode.
Supposedly, yes.
Did her mom go back in time with her? Or is she calling her older mom? Not her older, her mom from the past knows she was there. And she's talking to her?
These are all season 2 questions.
Why did the mom have to hide? Because she says that to the daughter when she takes her in episode 8. She's like, she goes for her. She was like, yeah, I'm sorry. I had to hide. I'll explain everything later. When the later.
Season 2.
Liz thinks she had to hide from Cecilia, the mother. But why?
Yeah.
Why did she take the dead baby bear, put it in the shed, and then have it make it bite her hand? What the fuck was that about? Maybe I'm talking myself out of liking it. Like I liked it, but like I said, I didn't love it. Did the stampede out of the tiny hole kill Luke?
No body, no death.
Yeah, I asked Liz that same question, and she was like, well, Autumn survived getting trampled. And I was like, yeah, but he was like, that was not a big hole. And there was a bunch of buffalo coming out of it, basically running over him.
How did they fit through at that rate, by the way? That was absurd. It's like 6-foot hole, and they're just like coming out in a V shape. Like, are they like shrinking down and getting bigger, like Ant-Man shit? Like,
I guess, yeah, they went through a portal. Yeah, there's got to be a season 2, right? Because like last time we see Sheriff Joy, she's like in the past.
Yeah,
because she sees like a Native American community with like teepees and stuff. Another question about her: why did she mention she was allergic to bananas when it had nothing to do with anything?
Great question.
Because I remembered that, and I was like, "That's going to come
like something for season 2.
That's going to come into play later," and it never did.
Ready to go big spoiler right now?
Sure.
Okay. How early did you figure out that the little girl was Autumn? Episode 2, 3? Because that's where I was at.
1 or 2. Like my wife is always just like, "This is what's going to happen." She was like, "Oh, she's the little girl." Like maybe episode 1, definitely episode 2. She was like, "Oh, she's the girl."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, you're probably right."
The second Josh Brolin's dude went through the portal to another time, I was like, "That's the same person."
Yeah, you were like, "Oh,
100%." I think maybe before then I was like, "They might be the same person." Then I was like, "It's the same person."
Yeah, and then like you find out later that she basically is there later on. Not because it's any sort of close time, because she's grown up at that point.
Yeah.
And she's probably there with her grandmother. Right? That's got to be... Yeah. Well, she wasn't there with her, but they were both there. I don't fucking know. But...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once you start getting in the timey-wimey stuff, it gets weird.
When she showed up and saw the ranch sign and like smiled, that was like a weird clue. That was like episode 1. I forget if it was 1 or 2, because we watched these as they came out. When he asked her what her real name was, and she kind of like balked and then said Autumn. It was like, oh, she's Amy. I wonder how she got there too. But it's like she didn't really show up until the hole formed again, though, right? And then you find out that he's from 1886 and he's here in like the 2020s. Like I figured that too. Like I was like, oh, he's not from this time. He showed up when he was 9, doesn't remember anything. Like, and then later on they show the scene where he's kind of like crawling out of the hole, and I was like, yeah, like he's definitely. He time traveled as a child to this time. That's why no one knows anything about him. Again, solid show. Don't love it, but I liked it. It's definitely worth watching. But I don't think it's going to blow you away.